Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's the Eradicator, and in this video we'll be talking about Star Citizen of 3.15. We got more details from the latest Evocati patch, which is still the A patch, still the same patch, but this is basically the second part of the video that I talked about not last video because we had the bloopers, but the last video that talked about the PTU, right? And this video is solely going to focus on the new health system, the new gameplay that is going to be introduced in Star Citizen 3.15, which is going to be introducing the very first steps of death of a spaceman. It is called Healing Tier 0 and Actor Status Tier 1 for the technical names here. And they say that complete overhaul of the healing and the actor health systems. These two systems are intrinsically linked for players to determine the effects of damage on an actor and allow themselves and other players to action on those effects. These effects range from minor visual and audio feedback to state changes where player control is removed, and to the death and, in player's case, responding of a character. We quickly talked about it in the previous video about 3.15, but now we're going to have a look at what was leaked regarding the details about this healing tier 0 and actor status tier 1. So the first one here is the incapacitated state. So when a player is damaged enough, they will enter an incapacitated state where they will enter ragdoll, which is basically their body will just fall down and will be unusable, right? So they will be unable to move or interact, and their vision fades in and out. Basically, it's like your eyes close and open and close, and you don't really know what's going on around you if you are in like in this state in real life as well, right? So a time until death is displayed to the player. Once expired, leads to their death and respawn at a medical facility, which is what they've been talking about here. That's where you are going to have to be setting up your different hospital of basically the hospitals are going to be your respawn point, and you're going to have to set them as which one is going to be your favorite one for respawn, right? So that's also going to be quite important. Now, it's important to know that the duration in which you will be in such an incapacitated state may vary depending on the additional damage that you will get that you'll receive, which is also going to be affecting your other statuses. So for example, if you are bleeding, then that time will be shortened. Same if you are in a dehydration state, so if you don't drink enough water, probably you are going to die quicker as well. The same goes if you are on the location with very high temperatures, like for example Aberdeen on aerial, then you will also die quite quickly too, because even if you're okay over there, you will die quickly if you don't have the right suits, right? Instant death, however, can be caused by receiving a large amount of damage in one instance, and this is something that they talked about also in an episode of Star Citizen. If you receive a torpedo straight to your head, right, then you will obviously die. I think that if you're also crushed by a hammerhead, right, you're probably going to die as well. When the player is incapacitated, a button prompt is displayed to trigger a service beacon, which, if taken by another player, creates a mission for said player to retrieve the incapacitated player. Now, we still don't know how much that money is going to be, and we still don't know if the amount is going to be depending on the type of insurance that players are going to be taking, which I think would be great, right? If you take an expensive insurance, then the fee for players to be picking you up perhaps will be a little bit higher as well, and this will encourage more players to take the missions. Whereas if you have a low tier insurance policy, then people maybe will be less interested. I think that this could be an idea that CIG should be using to encourage players to take those missions, but we'll see, right? Maybe they have. A second player can use a synced revival with a medical pen, which is mouse 2, when close to the down player, which will bring the down player back to 50% health. The synced revival can be performed on a player that is face down or on their back. The medical gun and multi-tool healing attachment can fire a beam as a means of delivering a healing drug, which can also revive an incapacitated player. Now, moving on to death and regeneration, which is the reason why we have to take a hospital as a respawn point here. After a player dies, they will now regenerate in a medical bed instead of a PAB bed. By default, the player will regenerate at their home location via the front end the first time that they enter the game. A player may set a different regeneration location by visiting its hospital or clinic. Any Tier 2 or Tier 1 facility can be used in a clinic location or a ship, and navigating the UI on a medical bed, medical beds, end screen, or dedicated regeneration terminal. A player may reset their regeneration location to their home location via the same screens. If a player's set regeneration location is not available at the time of death, for example, if a ship is out of range, locked out, or destroyed, then the player will respawn at their home location instead, which is why it's important to have a home location, because sometimes you may set your respawn point in a Karak or in a jump. That ship may be locked out or destroyed. Then where are you going to respawn, right? Well, obviously you are going to be respawning at your home location. If a player's set regeneration is temporarily unavailable due to all beds being full, that's also important here, they will be given the option to regenerate at their home location instead in order to avoid waiting in queue. Yeah, but what if your home location hospital is also full? You know, what's going to happen then? Is there going to be like a secondary one or second choice? That's also going to be something worth asking. Talking about injuries now. When an actor's body parts, for example, the head, torso, left arm, left leg, right leg is damaged, a corresponding amount of wear damage is applied to that same body part. Healing increases his HP, but does not affect wear damage. When enough wear is occurred, a body part will gain an injury. Further wear on the same body part can lead to increased injury severities. Injuries add symptoms that affect gameplay and introduce audio and visual effects. For example, we could hear, I think that we'll be able to hear players says, you know, or I think that I'm pretty sure that if you have, I think that they talked about shooting, right? If you have like a broken arm, you'll only be able to do one shot, and then that's gonna be it. You will not be able to use your gun anymore. So these injuries are going to really count a lot. Injury severity is classified as minor, moderate, and severe, with corresponding medical facility tiers 2, 1, 3, 2, and 1. Tier 3 can remove a minor injury, like the Cutlass Red. Tier 2, like, for example, we're talking about the Karak, the 890 jump, and the rest stops, can remove minor and moderate injuries, and Tier 1 can remove an injury. Everything, right? Herd locomotion is triggered when the body parts injury reaches severe or when a leg injury reaches moderate severity. So if you have moderate arm injury, it's okay, but if you have moderate leg injury, then it's going to affect the way you move around the verse. The player is forced into prone stance while they have a severe leg injury, but they are probably going to be limping if they have a moderate leg injury, whereas the player is forced into the arms lock state when they have a severe arm injury, meaning they will not be able to use their guns. Now, because we do have obviously more to come here, since it's not just about yourself getting injured, but also the ability to heal players. There are also a couple of drugs and more gameplay associated to healing, so that's what we'll be talking about next. Now, first, apology. I know sometimes people complain that there's too much background noise in my videos. Guys, I am not just a YouTuber, I'm also a father. I have a little baby girl, and she likes to be around daddy, so if you have a problem with that, then just don't watch my videos, please, and also unsubscribe, right? Otherwise, well, she's going to be making a little bit of noise. It's no big deal, right? So anyway, next are the blood drug level here. So blood drug level, or also known as BDL, increases when a player is given any medicinal drugs, for example via the med gun, multi-tool, med pen, or medicinal bed, or drinks alcohol as well. So alcohol is going to be considered a drug basically, and will be put into your blood. No word as of the widow or slam or other type of of funny substances that can be found in the verse at places like Jumptown yet. So I suppose that this will come in a future patch, right? As a player's BDL increases, they will eventually enter drunk locomotion and drunk. When BDL reaches 100%, the player will enter the overdose state. BDL decays over time. The overdose state results in the player entering ragdoll, being unable to move or interact. This will be funny to see people, just like in real life, you know. It would be interesting to see if NPCs will also get this state outside of bars, right? Anyway, their vision will fade in and out while in their similar or incapacitated position here. And once BDL decays to below 100%, the player will exit overdose state and be able to move again. So gonna have to, if you're like 110%, then you're in trouble. But if it goes back to 99, you'll be able to walk again. Probably not fantastically, but better than being on the floor, right? The player takes damage whilst in overdose state, taking increasingly more damage as BDL increases from 100 to 200%. This can lead to the player becoming incapacitated, which in return can lead to death. So you can die if you take too much drugs or if you take too much alcohol. If the BDL does not reach less than 100% before health score reaches 0. Ouch! Well, that's just like in real life, right? Don't do crazy things with your body. Talking about medicinal drugs then. Here, injury symptoms can be temporarily masked, not removed, just masked by medicinal drugs. Health can be regenerated, and the stunned effect of the overdose state temporarily removed at the cost of acquiring BDL per dosage. Drugs can be delivered via injection pen, healing bean like the med gun or the multi-tool healing attachment, or a medicinal bed. Drugs remain in a character system for a specified duration, with increased dose resulting in increased duration. The delivery method's efficiency also affects duration, with higher durations for medicinal beds versus medicinal gun or medicinal pen. So the beds are the most effective, then the medicinal gun, and the medicinal pen is the least effective. These drugs include Hemozal, which is given via the med pen, which heals and stops bleeding and revives incapacitated players. We also have Roxafen, which is basically an opio pen, which masks hurt, locomotion, prone lock, arm locks, pain, grunt, SFX. It's like your painkiller, right? Then we have Demextrine, which is basically giving some adrenaline here. It masks reduced stun recovery, reduced impact and resistance, as well as force reaction sensitivity. It reduces speed movement, it masks reduced speed movement and increased weapon sway, decreased ADS enter times. Then we have Sterogen, which is basically a Corico pen. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not very familiar. I'm just reading the patch notes. Sorry about this. So this one here, the Sterogen, is going to be masking blood vision. It will mask muffle audio effects. It will mask reduced stamina regeneration, reduced max stamina, wheezing audio effects. It will also mask reduced melee force. Next, we also have Regeneration, which is going to be a detox pen, which is going to revive an overdose character, provided that it is also not in incapacitated state, but does not exit the overdose state. Thus, damage is still applied to the overdose character. That's very interesting. So basically, if someone is having an overdose, you'll be able to apply this and then send this person to a doctor, to a facility where they will be treated, rather than leaving this person on the ground, still being some damage while not being able to do anything about it. So that's something worth knowing here. So while Regeneration is present in a character, all other drugs' decay rate are doubled, resulting in their duration being reduced. BDL decay rate is double, resulting in the overdose state being exited more quickly. 4 new med pens are going to be introduced here. 4 new med pens which are going to be the Roxafen, audio pen, Dimertraxine, Adrena pen, and Sterogen Corico pen, as well as the Researcher Detox pen. These are added to shops at multiple locations, so all of these med pens will be separated per drug. Each drug is going to have its own med pen, so it will be very important not to pick the wrong one. Hopefully they are going to have distinct colors as well, so that medics will be able to know what to do, as well as perhaps newer players. Coming up next are information regarding the medical gun and multi-tool healing attachment. Now, players are going to administer drugs via the healing beam. I know that a lot of people have been complaining, oh, it's another beam, right? It's another magic lasers that are that's going to do everything. Yes, but Star Citizen is a game. It's not real life. So please, I know that some people want to have everything like in real life in Star Citizen, but at the same time, it needs to remain fun. And it's already such a time sick. So many activities are just taking so much time. We don't just want another example, right? So this medical beam is going to work within 5 meters of the target character. It is going to have a diagnosis first. Both medical gun and multi-tool display health and actor status information about the character they're pointed at. The back display of both show how much medicinal ammo is available and either the current target's character's health or the reason they can't be fired upon. For example, if it's more than 5 meters away or if the target's BDL is too high. Interestingly, so if they have too much drugs, you will not be able to give them more drug via the med pen. But I suppose that if you have medipens, then you'll be able to manually do that. Anyway, 2 AR/UR cards display are also going to be on the sides of characters, the left card is going to display information on specific body parts being pointed at. For example, it will show you injuries, recommended drugs, whereas the right card displays global health information, including health, actor states such as bleeding, time until death, and any administered drugs at and their time remaited. So you'll be able to see if they already were given drugs or not. As a body part is pointing out by medical gun multi-tool, the AR UI highlights the body part, displaying a transparent color-coded overlay, indicating which tier of injury the body part has. Self-healing mode. Both multi-tool healing attachment and medical gun secondary fire modes allow self-diagnosis and self-healing. Healing. Multi-tool and medical guns basic modes are limited to healing, which is delivering hemosol. Specific dosage. The medical guns advanced mode allows dosage for each drug to be specified with the predicted duration of the drug and the resulting BDL level. So it's going to be very important also if you are a professional medic in Star Citizen in 3.15, you will have to make sure that you give the proper dosage, because if you don't, you are not going to be effective, or you are going to maybe create an overdose on the character and you'll be basically treated as a poor medic and people will not be interested in your services anymore. Next are going to be the medical beds. Now, this one is probably where people are going to go if they have, if their health conditions is just too bad. Each medical bed has a care facility rating, either 3, 2, or 1, which determines which injuries it can remove. We've already talked about this, right? Medical bed animate upon characters lying down so that an interactable screen is visible, providing several tabs containing different functionality. Status, which displays a color-coded silhouette of the player's body and skeleton. Body parts that can be clicked on to display a summary of an injury. Recommended treatments or drugs. So the treatment is going to display a smaller version of the status screen, and a list of available treatments, which is going to include procedures to remove injuries and a default recommended drug usage. Medication displays an interface that allows custom drug dosage to be specified, similar to the medical's gun advanced mode. Regeneration is going to allow the player's respawning location to be set to the current bed or reset to the player's home location. Each bed has an end of bed screen or nearby freestanding or wall-mounted screen, which displays the status screen showing information of anyone in the bed, and the regeneration screen as well. Respawning after death. Players can now respawn on a medical bed instead of a HAB bed. Waking up after rescue, which is going to make sure that players that enter a down state in a landing zone or are admitted via emergency elevators, which is going to be something that we'll talk about further down the line, will wake up in a hospital When a player wakes up in a hospital room or a big ship, they will be presented with information about how they got there. For example, the reason for admission, cause of death if responding. So it will be interesting also to see players being showed, oh, you've been sent to the hospital by this player, or you were sent there because, you know, you died. Very good, very good. Well, I guess it's going to be so interesting to be checking this one by ourselves. Unfortunately, there haven't been any leaked videos or pictures that show that, so I am not able to report on what I've been able to see. Finally, last but not least, will be the hospital gameplay. Players can enter a hospital lobby, reserve a room via the check-in screen, which is going to be making use of its medbed, change their respawn location, and purchase all medical items from a pharmacy shop, and use the elevator to enter the floor of their assigned room. NPC doctors and nurses are populated through the hospital rooms, with a doctor welcoming the player into the room if they've checked in via the door. Why would you go into your hospital room if you're okay? I don't understand that. Anyway, they're also going to be welcoming you in a medical bed if the player was just regenerated or has been rescued. Next one are emergency elevators. Landing zones hangars have been updated to include an emergency drop-off elevator. So we're really talking about landing zones here. I think that this sucks, but this maybe will be another video for another day. If a downed, injured, or overdosed player is dragged into the elevator, another player can send them to hospital via the interface outside of the elevator. Once in the elevator, the player will be close to the doors and be rescued and wake up in a hospital. So there we have it, guys. These are all the details regarding the new actor status and health status in Star Citizen of 3.15. This seems quite complicated, but again, that's totally fine. That's what we expect when we have new gameplay loops, and this is the very first new gameplay loop that I can think of since mining was introduced in 3.1. So it's actually a big thing. It's also going to be the first one to make use of the iCache system. The iCache system is going to remember your status, remember all of your injuries. For example, you know, in Star Citizen, when you log out in Star Citizen, right now in 3.14, let's say you are at 50% health, you log out, you log in again, you are magically at 100% health. With iCache, it's not going to be the case anymore. When you come back, you will still have your injury. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying this out. You can be sure I'll be making videos. Who knows, maybe I'll be a doctor in the verse. Dr. Eradicator sounds about right. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, as this is the giveaway question. Of course, this month I got a giveaway thanks to Dr. Forbin and Max Power. First, for all of you, the subscribers of this channel, all you have to do is to subscribe to the channel and answer the giveaway question I'm asking right now. Are you going to be trying the medical gameplay? Like, are you going to be a doctor, for example? Is this something you're interested in? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, for the backers of this channel via the Join Button membership or Patreon on Discord, I have a Crusader Airs Iron thanks to, again, Dr. Forbin, and an 85X thanks to Max Power. That's all for this video, guys. A pretty long one, but wow, quite a lot to talk about indeed, right? I'll see you guys tomorrow for more content on the channel. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.